Hi, everyone. I'm here to tell you how we embarked on a sustainability journey since joining Canadian Broadcasters for Sustainability and also Rolling Green in Quebec. Our chorus French team has commissioned two dramas since that date. Can we put the slides up, please, Natasha? Yeah, and we took two different approaches to do so. If we can move on to the next slide. We've been experimenting a little bit, and the first one was the season 3 for our show Bête Noire, which just launched on Série Plus on April 2nd. For the third franchise of this show, we decided to go all the way to put green production best practices in motion. The Encore Television team has done everything they could behind the camera to save on CO2 emissions. They use thrifted sets and decors. They reduce their use of plastic, shot with natural light, a lot of it outdoors, and lots of other measures were put into place. So this is our first Albert verified drama, and it also got the performance accreditation from Rolling Green. If we can move on to the next slide, please. Then we took this to a completely different level with our next production, Anticosti. We started right from the script writing to weave in a green storyline as best as we could. This shoot required a lot of logistics as we wanted to highlight the beauty of the Anticosti Island while making compromises to save on CO2 emissions. So the production company Sphere Media organized to shoot most of the scenes off island last year, and a minimal amount of actors, crew, and equipment will be traveling to Anticosti in May to do the final 8 days of the shoot. This whodunit drama unfolds against a backdrop inspired by real environmental protests that occurred on the island in 2017. And as an incredible coincidence, just a year after we began scripting the show, and days after it was greenlit, Anticosti Island was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So from now on, it is protected. The narrative also incorporates an Indigenous storyline, shedding light on the discrimination faced by some of the local communities that live there. I could go on, but as we have to wrap up quickly, I'm going to say thank you for having me, and I would like to introduce our next speaker, Kirsten Hurd, commissioning editor at TVO.
Thank you very much, Julie. My name is Kirsten Hurd, and I'm in charge of all of the kids programming here at TVO, which is the public broadcaster here in Ontario. I did bring a video with some clips, so Natasha, if you don't mind rolling that, and then I'll chat afterwards.
Why is this happening? Did I leave the lid off the craft box again?
No, O'Shea. The source seems to be Mount Landville. Here.
So much garbage! And glitter!
And the glitter's getting caught on the wind and blotting out the sun!
Come back, son!
Team, we need to stop this problem before it starts. It's time
to take the future back!
I think that using a car to get to school isn't the best idea because it does produce a lot of carbon and pollutes. A lot of people in my school bring lunches that are wrapped in plastic. It would be an amazing idea to reduce the school lunch waste. There's a ton of waste every single day. This year, I want my school routine to be zero waste and low carbon. I'd love some help.
Thank you. So as you can see, those are two of our series that are talking to kids about climate change. So the first one was an animated series called Galapagos X from Big Bad Boo Studios in Vancouver, which features a group of kids from the future who travel back in time to help solve climate-related issues. And the second one is from a live-action unscripted series that we do called Green Squad, which is produced by Apartment 11 in Montreal, that gives kids real-life practical ways that they can help the environment and reduce their carbon footprint. I think for us, the key to talking to kids about climate change is to not overwhelm them with negativity and present issues in a clear and concise way. And it's also important that they get practical ideas and skills that they can put to use in their everyday lives. The issues around climate change can often feel daunting and insurmountable, and a key element we want our audience to come away from our programming is with hope for the future that they are inheriting. And it's really nice to hear a lot of people here today talk about looking for hope amidst all of the sort of negativity. And that's what we're doing at TVO Kids. And with that, I will pass it over to Michelle McCree at CBC.
Thanks, Kirsten, and thanks to the organizers for giving me this opportunity to talk about a powerful CBC documentary. It's called Yinta, which means land in the Wet'suwet'en language. This film isn't just about protecting the forests or the rivers, but of course it is about that. It's also about the deep living connection between people and the land we call home. Yinta follows the Wet'suwet'en Nation as they stand up to protect their unceded territory in British Columbia from pipeline development. What makes this story so compelling is that it's not just about resistance. It's about resilience, it's about community, and it's about culture. Yinta shows us that environmental protection really looks different when it's rooted in identity, history, and a deep love and respect for the land. What I find so moving about it is how it shifts the narrative from saving nature to understanding that the land is family. And when each one of us realizes that, it changes how we show up for it. Now, I want to share a short clip with you. As you watch, notice not just the beauty of the landscape, but the strength and spirit of the people who are fighting to protect it.
This is the proposed corridor for multiple pipeline projects.
You're crossing our territory on two ends of your pipeline. Who gave you permission?
Pipelines break of the pipelines would destroy the water and everything in it.
They gotta come through us first.
What started as a dispute over a natural gas pipeline has erupted into protests.
In solidarity with Wet'suwet'en land defenders.
This is an immediate evacuation order for all Coastal GasLink employees.
You guys are gonna block the road. Probably thinking I'm getting too old for this shit.
Powerful, right? That's the kind of storytelling we strive for at CBC Docs, storytelling that reminds us that we all have a role to play. And maybe, just maybe, if we listen closely to voices like the ones in Yinta, we'll start to remember what it means to really protect the places we love. Now I'm happy to pass the mic to Sam Linton from Blue Ant.
Hi, everybody. Thanks, Michelle, so much. That looks like a really important documentary. I'm Sam Linton from Blue Ant Media. I oversee commissioning for all of our originals across our channels at Blue Ant. And I guess I really wanted to give you some examples of all the different ways that we're embracing storytelling, climate change and sustainability storytelling across so many genres. We have channels like Cottage Life, BBC Earth, Smithsonian, and we're able to embrace in really organic ways everything from history and archaeology to series about wildlife and even home renovation stuff. So I'm just going to share a few examples with you. I know we're trying to keep to time and I don't have any videos. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about them. The first one I wanted to mention is a show called Orangutan Jungle School. This is a series that's shot in Borneo and it's for our Love Nature brand. And it really focuses on the good work that they do there for all the orphaned orangutans. And the reason they're orphaned is because of the deforestation in Borneo. So you couldn't ask for a more organic way to get at climate change than that. Here at home, we have kind of our localized version, a series that we shoot in Halifax in the Nova Scotia area called Hope for Wildlife. Features a woman who runs a wildlife rehab center. And this past season, when the wildfires ravaged the province of Nova Scotia, we had many, many stories of animals that were orphaned and that came in. We had a little sisters, deer fawn sisters that were aptly named Ember and Ash because they were singed when they arrived at the center. So there again, you have in real time seeing the devastation that climate change has on our natural world. Archaeology, another weird, way that you wouldn't think necessarily would be an easy way to get at some of these stories, but there it is. We have a series called Mysteries from Above that uses the simple, lovely, clean concept of drone technology as a way to open up and tell stories, new stories of history and archaeology, how the view from above kind of unlocks the secrets. And we see things like, new ruins being revealed in Turkey because the ocean waters are receding because of climate change. So that was really interesting to see. And the last one I want to mention is a series that we did out of British Columbia called Todd Talbot Builds the Passive House Project. And this was with Todd Talbot from the Love It or List It fame. And we really set out to do a renovation series with Todd, watching the journey of him and his family building their dream house in the Okanagan. And it was going to be a traditional lifestyle series, much like he'd done in the past, with a great reveal at the end. But sure enough, the wildfires hit the Okanagan area. And after 2 years of building his dream house, literally his house went up in smoke. His house, his dreams, everything. So we as a broadcaster and as a creative partner with the producer had to decide together how to handle that. And we chose, I'm very proud to say we chose to dig into what was real in that story and shift away from the traditional lifestyle format and embrace more of a documentary approach to what happens when your home renovation is confronted with some of the realities of climate change. So those are a few examples how we have so many different genres. It's not just stuff that's on the nose, but it can come into storytelling in so many different ways. So that's it for me. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share with you. And I'm going to pass it over to Renee Paradis, executive producer at TFO Kids.
Hello, everybody. Hi, I'm Renee from TFO, and it's, for those who don't know, it's Ontario's French public broadcaster, so similar to TVO, but French, same idea though. I'm going to present to you a little clip of our series. It's going to be subtitled. It's called Effet domino in French, Domino Effect in English.
1, 2, 3. Voici 3 choses que tu peux faire à la maison pour ne pas gaspiller l'eau. 1. Ferme l'eau du robinet quand tu te brosses les dents. 2. Ce n'est pas bon d'arroser le gazon. 3. Prends une douche de 5 minutes au lieu de 10 minutes. 5 minutes. C'est simple comme 1, 2, 3.
Bravo, Daouda. Ça, ce sont de bonnes idées. Hey, ça me fait penser, je connais une pro qui en a aussi de bonnes idées.
So that was just a short clip from the show Effet Domino. So Effet Domino, 13 episodes, each episode features a kid like Daouda who talk about the domino effect, so the positive effect that they're having on their friends and community. In Daouda's case, when he was 8 years old, he moved to Pembroke from Mali, and him and his family, the biggest shock they had where they came from a country where during the dry season they'd have to travel miles just to get drinking water. Here were people in Pembroke washing their driveways with tap water. So it was a huge shock to him to see how wasteful we are in Canada, not just with water, but with other things. And so what this series does is that we don't hide the facts about how 90% of things that we think that we're recycling are actually ending up in the dumpster. We're not hiding any of the scary facts, but we give it hope in featuring people, kids like Daouda, who are making a difference in their communities. Not only people like Daouda, but we're featuring adults who have jobs that are innovative and who are trying to introduce something greener. For example, there's a professor named Dr. Marc Dubé at the University of Ottawa who's coming up with like a glue that can go on tape so that when you tape something and it's a piece of paper that isn't colored, you can actually throw it in the recycling bin. Or even those stickers that are on fruits and vegetables that they say are edible, and that might be true, but the glue is not toxic, but it's not biodegradable. So they're working on this new kind of glue that can be biodegradable. So the series is meant to really not hide any of the facts about what's happening to our environment, but give it hope and show that people do care. And we actually just aired it, that particular episode in a few schools for Earth Day this week. And we got really positive feedback that that was in fact the message that people were getting. So happy to say that we're going into a season 2, and I know time is limited. So thank you for listening to me, for your time. And we are going into a 5-minute break, but when we come back, Justin Barnes from Rolling